chanting slogans.
All right, and how do you think Gaddafi's speech went down in the country, not only in Tripoli, but right around the country?
I think it played just as well as it did, I mean, among it, as it did in other countries when translated. He's a joke. He's a harlequin. He is someone you don't take seriously when he speaks. But when he does and he mentions the brutality he's going to perform, it should set off alarms. This is a man who, when he promises to do something, especially to his people, he does it. I mean, he answers to no one. No one puts pressure on him, and he knows it.
Yeah, I mean, take him seriously or not, Gaddafi did threaten his people. Are people scared?
People are. We shared both signs of anxiety and laughter when listening to his speech. Some things were just ludicrous, like when he had said he built Benghazi stone by stone. Go ahead and tell that to anyone there. Along with that, he said he'd go street from street, house to house, room to room to wipe out these foreign insurgents, which he's blamed from everyone, from America to the Tunisians and the Egyptians to the Jews in Israel. I mean, go ahead, take your pick. He's blamed just about everyone.
Are people waiting to hear what Saif Gaddafi has to say next? Because we have reports that he's meant to give a press conference.
Everyone will listen, but no one really cares. He is just as bad. He is his father, except not as intelligent. Let's face it, Muammar Gaddafi is a very intelligent man, albeit he's insane. He's very intelligent and brutal. Saif is nothing more than a puppet. He hasn't held a serious position ever, really, in the government. The old guard does not want him in, and he's yet to really have done anything for the country. What Libya needs now, honestly, is intervention. All this finger wagging and shame on you is nice and it's pretty cute, but without action behind it, and he knows this, nothing will change. And the longer they sit there and talk about, oh, shame on you, Gaddafi, the more people die here, the more mothers have to bury their children, the more people have to live in fear.
Well,
but,
give us a sense.
Sorry,
it's difficult for us to talk to many people out of Libya because of the communications, but give us a sense of what it's like being in Tripoli. What do you see on the streets? Are there army personnel? Are there mercenaries? Go ahead.
There are. You see army personnel throughout the day. You haven't seen that many lately due to the anti-regime, kind of on the fence. If they see that it sides one way, they're going to lean that way. Right now, it seems it's leaning in favor of him, so they're leaning that way. Before, 1 or 2 days ago, it seemed as though it was leaning against him, and so they kind of just kept quiet and stayed off the streets. Although right after his speech, mercenaries were sent into the streets.
And what did they do?
Gunshots in every direction, automatic, semi-automatic, high-powered rifles. You could hear all of them. You could hear the different sounds of them. You could hear the different speed bursts of them to tell semi-automatic or automatic. And it was non-stop for a while. It could have been a sound clip out of Chechnya, in all honesty. And
has that not stopped now?
It has, for the most part. We've seen, some military personnel standing around with semi-automatic, actually cleaning up the blockades neighborhoods have set up to keep these hooligans, these mercenaries out. They actually have sent in the military to go ahead and tell them to clear it away. So possibly tomorrow or later tonight, God knows when, they can patrol the streets to try and intimidate and wipe out anyone they deem as opposition.
Are you afraid of the action they could take tonight in the next couple of hours?
Honestly, fear is something that does pass over you, but anything more so, you feel anger, you feel sadness, especially at the international community, when you have organizations like the UN, NATO, who do nothing. They sit by idly saying, we strongly condemn the actions. We understand that, so do we. Yet at the same time, we're dying here. You're doing nothing, and Libyans want help. They want action. They don't want to sit here and listen to you talk about what a bad person he is. We've known this for 42 years. Enough. get on the phone, make some calls. I understand it's a little troubling to have to dial a couple numbers, but you know what? It helps a lot. Send people here. Send peacekeeping troops. Go ahead and keep these mercenaries out so we can have peaceful protests, so we can have something closer to democracy than what we have now. What we have now is a regime, is a ruling family, and it's going to get passed from father to son unless someone stops it.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us there from Tripoli, updating us on the situation from right inside the country. Well, for now, we can find out what social media sites are saying, and Imran Khan is over at our web desk with all of that. Imran.
Thanks, Doreen. Well, lots of the talk right now is on Libya and that Gaddafi speech. Now, a lot of what's on the internet cannot be repeated due to the nature of the language. Clearly, there's a lot of anger out there in cyberspace. But here's what we can show you. Let's take a look at some of the recent posts on the micro-blogging site Twitter. Omar al-Mukhtar with a plea. The Libyan people call for an end to Gaddafi. The world has no role to play but support them, and you're failing miserably. Libyans' revolt have clearly been campaigning for a while now. In the past 60 hours have had a total of 3 to 4 hours sleep. Cannot stop now. The end is near. And Dina Adil reports on one family in Libya. They're too scared to even leave the house to get to the airport. They're also running out of food. And this reaction to that speech, after Gaddafi's rant, I'm feeling blue. Only the hope for freedom and justice keeps us alive. Cardia131 updates us on her family in Libya. Everyone is safe, neighbours with us resting and swapping stories. Younger children are asleep. And this lament on what's happened so far. My heart is heavy. There's no depths to which this dictatorship is willing to sink. You can keep up to date with all of the latest, of course, including AlJazeera's correspondents in the region and globally. It's all on our website. Take a look for yourselves, aljazeera.net/English. Also, our live blog, a play-by-play of everything coming out of Libya, including some great opinion, analysis and reporting. The web desk's in overdrive, keeping you up to date. So stay involved in our website. So much of what we can report, from opinion to fact, has come from you, and we will continue to keep you informed.
Let's get some perspective on the development out of Libya and the situation. And we have with us here in the studio in Doha, Hussam El-Ghariani. He's from the Libyan Information Center right here in Doha. Hussam, thank you for being with us on Al Jazeera.
Thank you for having me.
I'm just looking at the Libyan state television right now here on the screen, and they're showing pro-government demonstrations, naturally. I mean, what do you make of his support base, if he has any left?
Well, the footage that was shown, what we can see right now, is allegedly tonight, because he came out on TV and he said, everybody rise, come out. But I can't see, for looking, the yellow armbands that he indicated, so I can't help but think that this is probably pre-recorded.
Well, Muammar Gaddafi also called for people to come out tomorrow, in fact, on the streets to support him.
Well, if he's around tomorrow, then maybe they will be wearing their armbands, but I don't know.